All right, we are up.
All right, cool. You get anything cool down the flea market this past weekend?
Nothing cool. What is cool is something I got off of eBay recently. So, I'm not usually a big eBay buyer, but I had to get it because it popped up, and I was like, I can't pass up. I will. I'll grab that. I'll show it off at some point.
Yeah, eBay is definitely the spot to buy now, not the spot to sell. End up not getting any like more money than what you would get anywhere else. And then they just take so much now. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Dude, I had a comic collection come in my shop, man. It was like 700 comics.
Recently, was this recently?
This was this week, actually, on Tuesday. The guy showed up there. I traded him
Really?
like some gold for comics, which is probably stupid on my part, but you know.
Nothing wrong with that. I mean,
No, there was some decent stuff. That was that video that I sent you over. I actually got like the highlights of the collection. So I'll show that
okay,
off. What you got.
okay.
Oh,
Yeah, I've been upset because I haven't even gotten. I've had this video that I've been editing. I've had it ready. I still have to do my voiceover, but I've had it ready for 4 or 5 days now, and I just haven't had the time. And yesterday I had the time to do it, and I went out and played in a football game, and did not want to work when I got home. So it's just been sitting there. I'm like, oh, I got to get this out, but by tomorrow it'll be done.
yeah. There's not enough time in the day.
No, it's crazy.
That's why I was telling you with the sports thing. Bianca works at a sports bar now. The guy
Oh
walks
yeah.
up to me, and of course, Sunday night football, I had on a Cowboys hat. Dude goes, Cowboys fan, and I didn't want to be like, no, no, just wearing the hats, match sneakers. Usually I say that, and of course I go, yeah, uh-huh. He goes, oh yeah, and I'm like, yeah, I'm waiting for the Cowboys game. He's like, dude, it's a bye week. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, they don't play this week. I'm like, oh, he went real quick. Yeah, I gotta go. So yeah, that really, I mean, and also I say sports too. I'm like, yeah, I'm a big sports fan. And he's like, you mean football fan? I'm like, sports, football, sports. That's why I have work in there, man. People come in. Somebody came in the other day. I had on a Patriots hat. The dude stormed
Uh-huh.
out of there. The Jets fan. I'm
Really?
like, why would you have stormed out of there just because you're a Jets fan? He's like,
That's
man, the Patriots. I'm
that's
like,
unnecessary.
yeah. I'm like, I'm not even a fucking Patriots fan. I don't even care about football. He's like, nah, you don't buy that hat. I'm like, ugh.
All right, we got a couple people in the chat. One of them is one of my best friends, Yasmin, who does my. She's been doing my thumbnails as of recent. So the reason why they look so much better is because I have her doing them and not me. And Evan, who was Evan, were you selling at SuperCon this weekend, or were you just there buying? Because he said that he saw my dad and he met Greg for the first time. So
What time
he's
were they?
good supporters. What was that?
What time were they open till?
Evan, help us out with that. How long was that show going on? But yeah, we got a couple people filtered in here. I guess we'll just go ahead and start. Evan, you were set up. Awesome. How'd you tell us how you did? Was it a good show to be a seller? Did you make out like a bandit, or were you just scrounging for scraps at some point? Evan texted me separately saying that he's still noticing really high prices at shows and stuff like that. That's not calming down. And as I explained to him, probably the bubble that is this comic book hype right now might just continue to blow up. I mean, it just might keep getting bigger and bigger. I don't
My
want it to get bigger and bigger.
prices.
What was that? Repeat that.
My shop, I sell it below eBay.
I you have really fair prices at your at your shop. He said they were going from 10 to 6.
Yeah, see, that's why I got out of work at 5. I couldn't get it. Ooh.
Yeah. Oh. All right, guys. So the first thing that we want to talk about, Mark sent me the Mandalorian 3 trailer. Looked pretty good. There was a lot of things going on in there. I don't talk about it as much on this channel because I focus so much on the comic books and the Marvel books because I love Silver Age Marvel comics. But I'm actually a really big Star Wars fan. I might be a bigger Star Wars fan than I am a Marvel fan. So yeah, there were a lot of cool things in this trailer. Nice. Got the Star Wars 1. What is that? 9.2?
9.85.
8.5. 8.5.
They're too expensive now. I sold mine when it shot up.
That's really cool. Yeah, I'm a super big fan. I can't say I was a fan whatsoever of the sequel trilogy, but that's a whole nother story. I don't consider that canon. But yeah, I saw a lot of cool things in that trailer. So Mark, you sent it to me first, so I'll give you the reins. Go ahead. Tell me what you saw.
I mean, obviously, Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are Star Wars at this point. What they do is they're God to Star Wars. I mean, they saved Star Wars. Let them do all of the projects. Let them oversee everything because the Book of Boba Fett was garbage.
So
the Kenobi, it was all right, but I mean, I feel like if at it would have been totally a different story. Leia wouldn't be involved. Luke wouldn't have been involved. I feel like they would have told their own story. Maybe Ahsoka would have been in it or something. It's like, why does Luke and Leia? Why does Disney always go back to Luke and Leia? It's like. So, I mean, when I saw that Mandalorian season 3 trailer, I was like, cool, Luke isn't in it. It's their own little story. It looks like they're going to be fighting for Mandalore and bringing it back. I think that, I mean, the fact when he walked down the corridor and he saw Bo-Katan just sitting on the throne like that, and then all of a sudden, like, it cuts to the next scene and you see them jumping out the trees and, like, jumping off that ship. That's the first time I ever saw that in live action, and that looked amazing. Like, that gave me goosebumps when I saw that. I'm like, because they never went to Mandalore, I don't think, in live action. They showed it
not in live action.
Yeah, the Clone Wars cartoon, it looked amazing, but I mean, it's still like, although that season 7 of the Clone Wars was
dynamite.
Yeah,
Clone Wars was such a good show.
Yeah, I mean, people underrate Rebels too.
I like Rebels. Yeah, Rebels is good.
I mean, it has the death of Maul. It has the start of the entire rebellion because they rescue Mom Mothma or whatever her name is. Mm-hmm. Have you Andor?
I watched the first episode. Didn't thrill me to watch the second, but I got to watch it at some point. I'm going to take a look, but yeah, I wasn't thrilled.
I watched 2 episodes. It looked better than Boba Fett, Book of Boba Fett, where he's walking around like the freaking Godfather.
Yeah, and just going back to, I like what you said, how Disney keeps referring back to Luke and Leia. 2 things. One, just going back to Kenobi, I'm never going to forgive the Kenobi scene where Vader just lets Kenobi get away with the fire. I don't understand that. You can't explain that in any rational sense to me that makes any kind of sense that would actually have happened.
Yo, in the next episode, he tears a ship down from the... Why didn't he just pull the droid with him? Why didn't he just go, come with me? And just, he could have just went like that and the droid would have exploded. Probably with a look, the droid would have exploded. Plus, we were promised a lot more of the kid that plays Anakin. What's his name?
Yeah.
Google that.
Hayden Christensen. Hayden
Christensen. We were promised so much more. Like that one episode when I saw them fighting each other, like the second to last episode. Yo, I was like, yes, we're getting it. Like
that was
now,
so good.
I know.
I wanted to see more Order 66 scene. Instead, we got like some like patchy, kind of vague. I wasn't even really sure what had happened. I wasn't sure if the girl, what's her name? What was her Raven, whatever her name is, if she got stabbed as she was a child or not. I couldn't really tell. Like, I guess she did after I watched like somebody give like an analysis of it. But in the moment, I was like, I can't even tell what's going on here. But yeah, it was good at some parts, but I can't forgive stuff. Like, especially with my Star Wars, I want that to be realistic as possible. Like, you gotta stick with what's real.
She can read minds, and she had Luke's uncle Owen. but yet she didn't his mind and say, oh shit, Kenobi's right there. You just had a conversation with Kenobi.
I don't know, man. It was weird. Like when it gets patchy, it's
what was she gonna do with Luke? She like walks back with Luke in her arms and just dumps him there. Like, what was that? They should have had Kenobi kill her or something. Like, and the fact that Kenobi just raises up all the rocks, they should have had Qui-Gon come to him right at that exact point. But I mean, I'm done trashing all that. The Mandalorian.
Yeah, I agree with that.
The Mandalorian looks amazing. Like when I think of Star Wars now, first thing I think of is Mandalorian. And next time you come to the shop, the Christmas window is set up with Jon Favreau, the whole scene with him. This year, I might actually do the manger scene with Baby Yoda, Jon Favreau as the one like standing up, and it's gonna be crazy. Or I'm gonna do the whole thing with all the Mandos praying to Jon Favreau again, like I did last year. I'm gonna post that up on it. Last year's Jersey Coin showcase window. As soon as I'm done with this live, I'm gonna post it up, and then you can repost it or whatever in the comments. But that,
and I do like what you said about when you think of Star Wars now, you think of Mandalorian, because when we were watching Book of Boba, my dad and I, it was the only parts that were good is when it turned into a Mandalorian episode. It was the only part that was good. The rest of it was complete garbage. I mean, people said like the first episode was like, okay, the first episode like had you intrigued as to what was going on, but it was all garbage after that until Mandalorian came back and it became a Mandalorian episode. So yeah.
And right back to Star that last season finale. I mean, come on. When I saw Cad Bane, I was like, yes.
Yeah.
And like, dude, what was that?
It was the most underwhelming death I might have ever, even if it was a death. Some people say he's not dead. I don't know.
Vance dude isn't dead now. Like, what? Now all of a sudden, well, ever since Rey, she can force heal people. I don't think anybody's dead.
Yeah, I know. You could just heal whoever you want. There's nobody dying. And that's another thing that's patchy about the force heal thing with Rey. This is something that I've said. I haven't heard a lot of people talk about this, but if Kylo Ren force heals Rey, who's dead, and then in turn he dies as a result of that, wouldn't that mean that if he had like a stab wound and Rey heals him, doesn't that mean Rey should like adopt a stab wound? Because if you're going to inherit the other person's fatality when you heal them, that means that if they heal you, they should get that. And it's like, it was a one-way street to where Rey can heal whoever she wants and she's fine. And he healed her and he died. I was like, you got to be kidding me.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't see Last Jedi or the Skywalker one.
Okay, well, I just spoiled that for you. You're not missing anything.
Yeah, I watched the breakdown on YouTube or whatever, and as soon as I found out the Emperor's still alive, if you go to Star Wars Theories page, there's actually, it's called The Duel of Two Fates, and it was what it was supposed to be.
Yeah, I think I know exactly what you're talking about.
Where Kylo goes through, like half the movie is Kylo searching through Vader's castle, and he finally finds his holocron, and he unlocks it, and it explodes on him, and he has to wear a mask then. And then it was like Luke Skywalker's ghost, like, dude, don't do it. Come on, kid, just go back to the light side. Your mother misses you. And then he finally finds it. He's like, I'm gone. And then he just disappears. And then there's no.
Yeah, the one thing that amazes me about the entire Star Wars, and you got to tell me somebody that can argue this point. You had at the time of episode 7, you had all the major cast members alive, present, and within the possibilities of the movie. Throughout the series, you killed out all of them without any emotion whatsoever. I don't understand how you could take a character like Luke Skywalker, kill him, and you're just standing there like, what? Han Solo, huh? You saw it coming. Leia, she Carrie Fisher dies, and her character is buried under a dirty sheet. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, like why? And also her lightsaber was there, but I thought Yoda blew up the Jedi Temple on that thing. And Luke drinking the milk thing, that was just like, I'm like, yo, what is he doing? That wouldn't be Luke Skywalker. Why would Luke Skywalker pull a lightsaber and go to kill his nephew because of a premonition when he didn't kill his own father, who literally blew up his sister's planet?
Because that wasn't Luke Skywalker. That's why.
Yes.
That was not Luke Skywalker. That was some made up fan fiction.
Yeah, that really was, and it wasn't a fan. No, it wasn't fan fiction. That was some made up garbage right there, man. I all three of those. I mean, I did watch like bits and pieces of them as soon as I saw Leia go Mary Poppins and flying through the air and whatever.
That's another one. It's just like, damn, come on, you're killing me.
Watch how it should have ended with Return of the Jedi on YouTube, how it should have ended. And Luke's like, oh, let me force heal you, Father, because he's Darth Vader sees Mace Windu in the afterlife, and he's like, my powerful son, force heal me. And then they jump in a time machine. Yeah, that is some funny stuff.
That was the one thing I liked about, because I'm just reading Psychedelic Comics, that ever since Disney bought Lucasfilm, Star Wars just went downhill. They are running out of original characters to kick out. That's what I did like about the Kenobi series, is that Ewan McGregor kept Obi-Wan faithful. So I did appreciate that. The story was not good. I wasn't a fan. I wasn't a fan that Reva is the one that told him that Anakin's still alive and that she knew the whole story, and it doesn't make any sense. But he did a good job in that role. I was really proud of Ewan McGregor. He kept Obi-Wan faithful.
I love that last 5 minutes where he's like, well, then my best friend's dead, Darth. And then he just walks away. Like, he could have ended Darth Vader. That's twice that he messed up. Obi-Wan is the reason why, like, the galaxy is in tremble right now.
And the original Kenobi from New Hope, he's slipping my mind. Alec Guinness.
Yes.
Ewan McGregor just gives that character so much respect. He does a really good job of, like, I could see the transition. Like, it makes sense.
Yeah. The way they left that, I was really, really happy, where he walks up to Luke and he's like, hello there. Like, the same exact line. And as soon as I saw that, I'm like, yo, that right there, worth watching this whole season. But also the other thing that I had the big issue with is, if Darth Vader jumped in a TIE fighter to chase Kenobi, what did the giant ship do that was chasing the rebels?
Yeah, they just kind of left that out.
Yeah, like, literally, they're like, well, we can chase one or the other. Darth Vader's like, I'm chasing Kenobi in my own ship. And then they're like, okay, well, we're just going to let them go then. And Kenobi's like, I'm going to skirt off that way that they all chase me. It's like, no, only Darth Vader chased you, dude. What happened to the giant Battlestar thing? What is that thing called? The Imperial Starfighter. Yep.
A lot of holes, a lot of problems. And it's become so typical that when something like Andor comes out, I'm not changing my schedule around to watch it. It's not on my list. But
definitely changing my schedule around.
Yeah, Mandalorian I want to watch. I do want to watch that.
Yeah. What do you think is going to happen, though, in the end?
I think it's an unpopular opinion, because I understand how Disney is marketing, and they're all in it for the bottom dollar. But it would make sense if Grogu died, Baby Yoda. It would make sense, because if he's not popping up in these other stories, what happened to him? Where is he? He chose not to go down the path with Luke, which did disappoint me, but he's here. He's going to be alongside Mando. I know he's not going to die. I would like to see some real risk taking and some emotion, which that would really get a lot of people going. But what I want usually isn't what happens.
I personally think that, well, obviously Grogu's going to end up with Darksaber. I mean, he's now a Mandalorian clan, like him, and they said it, you're a clan of two now. So that's clearly what's going to happen, is he's going to get the Darksaber. And then I think that Bo-Katan and Mandalorian are going to end up together. I think that the two factions are going to go to war with each other, and that's what it was. Because in the trailer, it's like those two are going to war with each other, and she even said it, your clan tore Mandalore apart. And I think that personally, at the end of the season, it's going to leave off with Mandalorian dead. I mean, it's like, and is left raising Grogu.
I could see that. I can definitely. Are you going to be pissed if it ends like peace everywhere and we all love each other?
Grogu's ruling Mandalore with the dark. Bo-Katan and Mandalore, the Mandalorian, are just like mother and father to Grogu, who's like, I mean, I'm not gonna be mad about it, because it's still such a good story, and no matter what, I don't think Jon Favreau is going to disappoint. I also think it's going to leave off with the Ahsoka show. I think it's going to leave off with Ahsoka, like, going right into that show. I can't wait to see Ahsoka.
Yeah, me too. She became one of my favorite characters, which, you know, it just goes to show how much a cartoon can actually have an influence on something as big as Star Wars. But I think we got a lot of people that are wanting to hear more about comics. What's going on, everybody? What's going on? So look, at the end of the last live stream, we said to leave any questions and concerns down in the comment section. I would answer them. Some people have left comments and questions in previous videos that I went back and kind of checked out. So I just want to run through kind of the top 3 that I have right here. And just kind of, we'll just shoot our ideas back and forth, see what we get out of this, and maybe shed some light. One thing, Mark, and this might be more for you, because I can definitely tell my story about it, but you're kind of just getting into this a little bit. So just pay attention to this question: is why have you chosen to take yourself onto social media? And so I'll let you go ahead and start, because you're kind of new to this and you're getting into it with Instagram, TikTok, now Whatnot, and maybe YouTube. Why do you want to take it public?
You kind of have no choice in this day and age. I tried to stay off it. I'm not a very, like, I'm not very camera, like, I curse too much. I'm not very kid friendly. So but now I'm trying to make myself that more, because obviously today, this day and age, you have to be out there. Like, you have to put yourself out there. My friend was doing Whatnot and he wasn't showing his face. Since he showed his face, now he gets twice as many people watching him. So it's something. Like, isn't that just weird though? Yeah, it kind of, it's good in one way, but at the second time, it's kind of annoying, because I forget to type, I forget to post.
Yeah, me too. Especially now that I'm busy, I'm like, it's tough.
Yeah.
I heard somebody say something. It was interesting. I don't want to say that I totally agree with it, but I don't want to say I disagree with it either. But the guy said that in this day and age, in 2022, you should never do anything without recording it, because anything that you do could essentially be monetized and you can get notoriety for it and you could become famous for doing it. So he's like, you should never be playing video games without live streaming. You should never be, and in my case, going to the flea market without recording. You should never be going to work without sharing what your day is. It's like the idea is, in this day and age, people will listen to anything. So that's one of the reasons that I wanted to get into it, is because the biggest reason that I wanted to get into YouTube in particular is I was always a big fan of American Pickers, big fan of Pawn Stars, big fan of Storage Wars. Those are my favorite shows as a kid. And I've been doing American Pickers since I was 9, going to different states, different flea markets, different yard sales, all this, all that. And I always wanted to do my own thing. So it's a passion project for me. There are some finances that go behind it, but if I did this strictly for the money, it wouldn't be worth it. It's definitely more of a passion project, and what it turns into in the future is unknown. But what I like about it is the infinite possibility that is online social media.
Yeah, I keep on telling Bianca and Mike, I'm like, dude, just record. Just have your cameras out. The other day, some lady up and she literally tried to steal something off our table for no reason. She just grabbed the person, like, she's like flinging, or another guy grabs like my comic books and starts like bending them and everything. Bianca's like, sir, you realize that you're damaging the comic books? And he gives an attitude and slams them down. It's like, that would probably
That's viral. You get that on recording, you blow up.
Oh, the other day she's at ShopRite and she has her dog with her. For an hour, she's in the store. When she goes up to pay, she pays and everything. Then the manager comes up, kicks her out of the store, doesn't let her take the basket with her.
That's it. You're famous.
Yeah. I go, you realize that could have just gone viral on that. That would have just gotten us probably 1,000, 200,000 even followers. It's just, or views. It's crazy what people watch nowadays.
People
And
watch, people listen too. Everybody's got their ear tuned in. And listen, I mean, take that with a grain of salt, because when I like to go play my video games, I don't want to be interacting with an audience or explaining what it is I'm doing or talking about my day. I just want to sit down and play video games. But if I want to be financially savvy, yes, I would be recording everything that I'm doing, because you never know what's going to blow up and what's going to happen in your day. If you can predict your day, then you must be a genius, because you never know what's going to happen throughout the day.
if you're playing your video game and a car crashes into your house and the guy jumps out drunk, freaking out on you about the road, guess what? If you weren't recording that, no one's ever going to believe it.
It's true. Anything can happen. Another thing that I don't know if you've experienced this yet, but I can tell you that I have, and I don't want it to sound good. I want it to sound bad. It is what it is. It's good and bad. You have to take the good with the bad. And somebody told me, I made a video a while ago, a couple months ago, saying the things that I've learned about being on YouTube, and I did my top 3 positives, my top 3 negatives. And a lot of people commented, and they said the right thing. They said, if you're not getting negative comments, then you're not doing it right. And that's hard for me, because I think I've explained this to you. I read my comments. I read all of them. I try to respond to as many as possible. And you do get a lot of negativity. And at the same time, I agree that the most successful people are the guys that get criticized the most. You look at somebody like Tom Brady, for example. He's the best to ever do it, and he's the most hated quarterback in football. You look at somebody like Warren Buffett. He's worth $100 billion. He's the best investor to ever invest, and people criticize him and say he doesn't know what he's doing. The bigger you are, the more people are going to attack you, and so it's a great balance. It definitely keeps you humbled from the way I see it. It's like, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, but it is what it is. You got to take the good with the bad.
Let me guess. On your positives, though, it was that you get noticed more when you go out and everything.
That was definitely, maybe that was like part of it. Like, it was like all the people that I've met in my interactions. That was definitely part of it.
Yeah.
I can't remember the whole list, but yeah.
People coming up to you, oh my God, you're CGL. That must be pretty cool.
You remember the kid Mo that came by your shop?
Yeah.
He wanted to say hi. You told me that he had stayed around the shop like a half hour or 40 minutes because he didn't know when I was coming, but he just wanted to say hi. It's like, can you put a price on anything like that? And I went to King Con 3, and before I even walk in the door, I'm just walking down the hallway to enter the show. These 2 Asian guys come up, and the older guy, he said he was a big fan of my channel and that he really, really likes my videos. And I got it on recording, and I was really happy about that, so I can go back and rewatch it. But it's just like interactions like that. It's like, it gives me it really actually gets me goosebumps. Like, I'm getting it now, because I never thought people would watch videos and react like that. And to see people actually come out of the woodwork to say hi, it's really cool.
Makes it worth it, definitely. I mean, but it's funny though, because Bianca, the second day that video came out, the live video, some guy came up to her in ShopRite and tapped her on the shoulder and goes, "I'm not a creep or anything. I just want to say I saw you on YouTube yesterday."
No way.
Yeah. I mean, it was just so funny. And she just called me up and she's like, "I've never had that happen." I'm like, reasons why you haven't seen her on one of the videos since, but I don't know.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, Whatnot, you're going to be the star of Whatnot, but at the same time, it's like girls definitely
hard
on Whatnot.
No, I need a woman's face. I have someone in mind when I take a trip, but she's going to be the face of the channel, because for a little bit, it does help. Look, there's no doubt that when I'm going through videos, I know what I'm clicking on. And if I'm clicking on so-and-so or, ooh, I like that, it's eye appealing. That's definitely the business side of it. And that's something it's something to look at.
Friends run the same exact channel. And I swear to God, this one, she has like the red hair, and literally her channels or her videos are the same exact topic. Who are your top 10 favorite X-Men? Her videos have 500,000. His have 120,000 views.
I know. I think I know exactly what you're talking. Yeah, who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no doubt about it. I met a guy, off topic, but kind of relatable. I met a kid who's insane. Like, dude's insane. I met him one time at a get together. He's 22 years old. He's worth about $30 million. He's a workaholic. This dude has several different businesses. He's not the face of any one of his businesses. He's like, in my one business, I have a tall guy who's 6'5" and really handsome because that's what's going to get me attention. He's like, my social media personality is 2 girls. It's not me. And he's just telling me this whole scheme that he has. He's the mastermind, but he's got all these different networks where he's not even the face. You don't even know who he is. So it's amazing.
I always said I'm not a likable guy. I'm not like, I don't have that TV personality. I said I should not be the one on the camera right now. I should have someone else on the camera. I mean, what was the first thing that I said to you? Oh, dude, you're the dude from YouTube. How many followers? Like, I'm not that guy that's like knows how to be on camera. But like I said, I curse too much.
Well, you've done a pretty good job in all my videos. So it's definitely, it's something you got to practice because look, if you talk to my friends at work, you get a different story about who I am. It's just for at least I should say, just for the language and the interaction. I am trying to make it kid friendly because I have families that watch the show. I have kids that watch the show. I want a younger audience. I have a much older audience that probably wants me to curse more, but I do want to get a younger audience of viewers. And the best way to do that is just try to be as calm as possible at times.
Act like that when you are putting yourself out there for billions of people. It's like hey, you know what? I want my videos to be seen all around the world. And a lot of these countries won't even air your video if you act a certain way. It's crazy.
Absolutely. And do I worry about that? No, not exactly. But circling back to Tom Brady, he's the guy that goes on the camera and just, he smiles. It was good. And when he's in the locker room, he's cursing his brains out. He's screaming at people, but you never see that, you never, unless he gets really pissed off in a game. Somebody said, I don't know, Aaron Rodgers might be the most hated QB at the moment. Aaron Rodgers has to get his head out of his, what, at the moment. That's for sure. All right. So that was a pretty good first question. And like I said to you before we started this, a lot of these questions are kind of mixes. So I might not answer your question specifically, but I kind of got the gist of your question and matched it with somebody else's that had a similar question. So I don't want anybody to think that I'm leaving them out. But another question / comment that I get so often, I got it on the last one, I got it on videos in the past, is okay. I've never been to a comic book show, or this is my first time I've gone to a comic book show. I've watched your videos and I made me want to go to a show. And people comment all the time. They either say it was a great experience or I didn't really find anything that I liked. But Mark, I mean, being a store owner, do you go to comic book shows a lot?
Nope.
And why?
Overpriced. Nobody wants to do business unless if you're nobody wants to trade unless if you're getting ripped off. I mean, everybody is so like, I don't want to say like everybody wants to hustle you, but like, I understand why these dealers want to overcharge you because they're paying so much money for the tables. But then you go to places that it's like $50 for a table or like $200. Although they raised up the home Dell price to what, $500 this year?
Really?
Is that? Yeah, I heard that it's $500 for one day. So I mean, and why these people are overcharging like $50, but like to overcharge a book that should be $500 and put it for $1,000. I don't need to do. I can do that by going on eBay and I can buy it for the fair price. I remember the one year I went to Comic-Con, I bought a Justice League #1 off a guy. He had it for $2,000, and yet on eBay he had the same exact book for $800. And I pulled it up on eBay and I showed him. I was like, "Nah, dude, serial numbers match." I was like, and he ended up selling for $600. But I mean, he was mad that I pulled that up on eBay. And he goes, "You damn kids with your phones, everybody's so savvy now." I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna overpay for something now.
And I'll interject because Evan's sending me winky faces. He says, I call BS, not all vendors overcharge. And that's because Evan is one of those vendors that I just love going back to. I tried to explain this to people in my past videos because two things. Well, one, sometimes people, I say something and I misspoke and people take that literally. Sometimes I try to explain things very clearly and people still don't get it. But I always try to tell people that when you go to a comic book show, you got to pick the right vendor because there are the scumbag vendors. There are the collector vendors that are they're way more in love with the item than you are. And then there is that sliver of vendors that are actually there to try to make a profit on the day. They're trying to hustle books. They're trying to get cash in their pocket so they can turn on a next thing. And Evan is one of those guys.
If it's, I think it is. I bought them from him too, and yeah, he always sells it for a great deal.
Yeah, I remember. I don't have the book handy. I bought a Amazing Spider-Man 29. I think it was the second appearance of the Scorpion. Never Step on a Scorpion, and he had it on his wall. I think at 120 or 125, which was kind of right about where it was. You know, it was about a 2 or a 3. And I asked him, look, you know, where I got to be on it, I would like to pay $90 for it. And he said, deal, sold. And so I was like, okay, I can work with this guy. And so now that's the kind of experience, like when I have an experience like that, I want to go back and buy from you again. And you know, when I go to a show, I'm going to look for you as opposed to going to somebody that I've never bought from or had a bad experience with in the past. There have been many documented. It's the great thing about this channel is I get everything I'm recording. Many documented incidents where I just had a bad experience with a seller that just left a sour taste in my mouth, and I'm just like, you know, I'm not trying to put money in this guy's pocket.
You call them out when you had a bad like you put that comic book like, yeah, I overpaid for this book when I got home. I didn't like it, this and that. Like, or do you just keep your mouth shut about it?
That's a tough question. I usually don't buy from somebody that I have a bad experience with. So I don't usually have anything to take home and kind of have, you know, and it's a major, for me, it's a major first impression thing. Like if I'm coming at you the way I do, and you know how I am, if I come at you with respect and interest and admiration for your stuff, and you kind of like shrug it off and like, you know, you're more interested in whatever it is that's going on. I had a guy that I was standing there for like 5 minutes, like holding books, like whenever you're ready. And he's just having a conversation with somebody else. And it's like, dude, like I'm standing here, like, come on, man. I picked through all these books. I'm standing here. You're having a conversation with somebody. Then he comes over and he's like, yeah, you know, I can't give you much of a deal on those. It's like, okay, I have no problem putting these books back. I have no problem just walking away from it. Yeah, I've had some, and then I've had some weird guys. I mean, I love the weird guys. The weird guys, you get one every once in a while.
Their book, and they'll be like, well, this is why this is this price, and this thing has this and this and that. And I'm like, dude, I get it. I know what the book is. That's why I picked it up. That's why I want to buy it.
I love the guys that, and there's a few of them. There's guys that when you talk to them, you say, this guy could be a comic book character. This guy's like a supervillain. This guy's a superhero. I can see that, and I run into people like that all the time, and it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah, that's how a lot of people that is.
Michael L said, CGL, can you do a video with Pop Comics? He's in the neighborhood. Is that the guy with the fuzzy beard that lives in New York? I watched some of his videos. He's pretty cool. As far as collabing with guys, it's hard for me. It's hard for me to approach somebody that's like so big and be like, hey, you want to work with me? Like it's tough, man. It's tough. I don't know if we're going to get together. Maybe we'll run into him sometime.
I was supposed to, he has the red hair. It's something comics or whatever. And he's one of the New Jersey guys. I was supposed to have him come to the comic shop. And it's like, it's so hard getting those guys to like actually go to you. It's like, I was showing Lion Size X-Men 1 in a 9.0. I was showing him last year a Hulk 181 and a 180 and a 182 and 8.5. Dude still didn't show up to my shop. So yeah, it's kind of hard getting those. Something Gary, that's what it is. Something Gary.
Very Gary.
Yeah, very Gary. Yep. Him, I went to his Comic-Con booth last year. He was supposed to come to my shop and everything. I gave him my contact info, everything. It's hard getting those guys to get to actually
Yeah.
collect, but I mean, they're getting paid off this.
Some guys got a pretty good business going. I know for me, um, it's hard to respond to everybody, even me. I mean, like I probably get a couple DMs a week just as far as people reaching out, and I do my best. And like I said, you know, as of recent, as of the past 3 weeks, I've been super busy. I haven't had a chance to get back to everybody. But I can only imagine somebody with, you know, 25, 30, 40, 50,000 subscribers. They probably have people messaging them all the time. It's like, I don't know if I'd be able to keep up with that personally. And Michael L., you continue to say your dad rocks. I hope you buy him some Donald Duck comics for Christmas. My dad's a great example of people want to see him on camera, and he really doesn't want to be on camera. It's really tough to get him on and just get him to do his own thing. He recorded the SuperCon. He was down there by himself. I forced him to take the camera. I was like, Dad, you got to take the camera in case you get anything. So I got to go back and watch that footage. I don't know if he gave any talks to the audience or anything like that. I hope he did.
It's probably going to be or something. Like, that's what my dad does when he has the camera, is he points it at the does not pay attention.
We'll see.
Like, it's like, no, you didn't.
One time I asked my dad I was like, I just want you to hold the camera while I walk this way. And he's like, what do I look like, Spielberg? I'm like, Dad, I'm not asking you to, you know, solve world hunger here. I'm just asking you to hold the camera. But it's tough. What else do we got here? Evan, the guy who priced by the Overstreet books, get me. Oh, I see what you're saying. The guys that use the comic book guide to come up with their prices. Yeah, it's a lot of the older guys that aren't into the circulation of
eBay
everyday life. They stick with their Overstreet guides, and sometimes you can find deals like that because they're not up to date, but sometimes they're way too high.
No, I had an argument with the guy down at Collingswood, and this is why I need a camera down the flea market, is because this guy literally told me, he goes, this Superman, and it was like one of the like Superman dies or something, because I'm like, oh, how much are these comics? And he pulled out like this one, and he's like, oh, he literally pulled out like a G.I. Joe or something like this, and he's like, this comic right here in the Overstreet guide is like $50. And I'm like, dude, I sell that book for 50 cents. I'm like, yo, what are you talking about, Overstreet guide? And he's like, you don't know comics, you don't know anything. And I go, I don't know comics. So I went to my out some stuff because I had everything with me this weekend because I was going to go to the Comic-Con thing. So I mean, I started pulling out like my Dr. Doom Origins. I pulled out my first Watcher. I pulled out my Amazing Fantasy number 13, and I'm like, what does it say the price on these comic books are? And he's like, $1,300. I'm like, yo, I have 200 on that thing. Why don't you buy that right now?
You see that a lot with those shows like American Pickers or Pawn Stars, guys that come in and they have like some fictional number that they think might be right. They heard it. A lot of times when American Pickers would go through motorcycles or slot machines, especially slot machines, cash registers, the big like bronze ones that are like really cool. I really love to own one, but guys would want like $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, and they're trying to like tell them like the market, that was the market like 10 years ago. The market now is like $1,500 for your $5,000 register. It's not there now. You missed the time to sell. That's why I'm trying constantly to interject into the conversation, tell people prices are really high right now. They might not stay that way for much longer. People don't like to hear that. They want to hear that their books are going to keep going up, but these markets fluctuate, people, and the price now could drop and not recover for a decade. It's very possible. It's very possible.
For 14, that book shot up to $4,000 almost in a 5.0. Now what's that, like 2,000 maybe? 15. It's because of the movie. It's like, I thought Blade was a good investment, and it turned out that Blade it ended up now he might be out of that movie, and now that book plummeted.
Right. The stock market race of what movie's coming out and what I should spec on. People know from watching my channel, I try to avoid that as best I can. I'm not I really try. It's hard because when you see other people buying the books, you're like, ooh, I like that. I want to buy that too. But anytime I say I really like that, I ask myself, did I like that 3 weeks ago? Did I like that a month ago? Did I like that last year? Because there's things that I really do love, and it's not very many things, but there's a lot of things I see every day that I'm like, ooh, I like that now. I like that.
She-Hulk, #1, man. How many people passed $1? Now all of a sudden they're paying. I had one guy buy 4 copies from me for $60 each, and he goes, "Oh, you're stupid, man. These things are worth like $200 now." I'm like, dude, I bought those for $1 each a month ago. It's like worth anything a month ago. Now all of a sudden they're a show, and I still like the She-Hulk show, except how it ended with Feige.
I didn't see the ending, so I'll I'm just going to interject real quick and do my own little thing for a second. Because speaking of things that when I always ask myself when I'm looking at something, I'm like, do I really want this? Do I really love this? This, that, the other thing. I bought something recently on eBay, which I don't normally do, but it's a really rare item. I've been collecting Pez dispensers since I was 9 years old. It was my first collectible. So that means I've been collecting for 15 years. I've never seen one of these in person. So when I saw it on eBay and at a good price, because I seen them go for stupid prices, I had to buy it. So I'm going to show it off on camera for the first time. It was not on any of my YouTube videos, but it was a 1966 Batman no feet Pez dispenser. And what makes this Pez dispenser particularly valuable is the fact that it has the cape. That is so rare to see. And so this is one of those items that I asked myself, do I really love this? Yes, because it's been on my want list for about 12, 13, 14 years. It's something that I've always wanted, and I got one in really good condition. It did come in an original box, so I got to hunt a box down. But this is an example of something for me. I don't care whether this goes up or down in value. I don't care if this is worth $1 tomorrow. I don't care if it's worth $1,000. I really love this item, and it's a collectible. It's not a resale. I do have my small list of things that I collect as opposed to deal in. Do you have something that just really tickles your fancy? You don't want to sell it?
Watches.
There you go.
It's my Rolex. Yeah. I never want to sell that. I mean, I love that thing. I bought it almost 10 years ago now. It's like, and it's only gone up in value. I don't know, but it's my presidential Rolex. And you know what? I have about 4 other Rolexes, but this one seems to be the only one that I wear. It's like, and I just bought a huge watch collection, and I'm still wearing this one. It's like, but at the same time, it's like, would I sell it if I have to? And in my market, though, this is my business. So it's like, I've had Iron Man first appearance. That was my one. That was my big book that I always wanted. I ended up selling it a month later.
Mm-hmm. There you go. I've had a couple of really cool books that I've bought since I started this YouTube channel that have been featured on this channel that I put it up on eBay. I ask a high price because I have that right. And if somebody's willing to pay that high price, like we talked about in the last live stream, if someone's willing to pay it, I'm going to sell it. If somebody doesn't want to pay it, I don't have a problem keeping it. You know, it's a kind of a two-way street for me where I'll hold on to it if I don't get the price I want. And if somebody loves it more than I do, it's theirs. Be my guest. And when I do stuff online, you know, I never try to rip anybody off. I have 100% feedback. And always try to give really, really accurate descriptions on the item. So making sure people get what they ask for. I think right now is a really good PC buy time.
I had that I swore I'd never sell turned into, okay, I'm going to sell it right now. Like my Jordan rookie card. I was never going to sell that thing. It was a PSA 8. Mm-hmm. Then it went up to like $20,000. And yeah, that was the first thing. I'm like, yo, that thing like a few years ago, like what? But
that's awesome.
It changed everything.
And so I'll just hit the last question that was kind of the general consensus, which is it's kind of the same. We answered this last time, but where do you think these markets are going? I know you saw a lot of movies. We have some movies coming out. We have Wakanda Forever coming out this week, right? It's coming out later this week.
That's sad.
What do you see, Mark? What's going on out there?
If Kevin Feige actually does I heard that he threatened Disney and said, yo, you guys have no idea what you're doing. And he's like about to walk out. That's apparently what I heard. Like all these shows that were going to be shows turned into one shots now, because Werewolf by Night was an amazing one shot. I mean, I love that. I've watched it 6 times already. Disney Plus versus She-Hulk. That was 6 episodes. That could have been a 1 episode, one-off thing. And I think it would have been a lot better. So Feige apparently is doing that. So I feel like if he actually sticks to that, the prices are going to go right back up. But at the same time, the economy is bad. So it's like, I used to think that like toys were a good investment. Then Hasbro saturating the market in so much inventory. I mean, it went from being 1 wave Marvel Legends out a week or a year to 1 a week now. It's like they're releasing new stuff every single week. So it's like people's wallets can't keep up, so it's pushing people away from the market completely.
Right.
And everything's going up in price. It's like my rent is through the roof. I was paying $1,200 a month in rent 4 years ago. Now I'm paying $2,000 a month. It's like, and I'm in a smaller place now. It's like everything's going up, and comic books, cards, toys, I don't think that's going to be on the top of people's lists.
I always did say that buying quality. So if you can buy a really good book, it's a good protection against inflation, which is what we're facing right now. Even though some people are still denying that inflation is real, go to the supermarket, pay rent, and tell me that inflation is not real. That one always gets me. The myth that inflation is just, it's not actually happening. But when you buy quality, when you buy a nice key, not like everybody, I don't know how you feel about this. I don't know if I'm going to hit a funny bone of yours. Amazing Spider-Man 300. That's not, to me, it's not a quality investment. There's literally like thousands of 9.8 Amazing Spider-Man 300s. That's not a rare quality investment.
Yep.
Show me an Amazing Fantasy 15 and I'll show you a quality investment. You know, there's a really small handful of books that are really good. I shout this channel out a bunch of times, but Reserved Investments on YouTube. The guy, Sean, people call him crazy. I call him a genius because he really dives into the investment aspect of collectibles. But it's a great protection when you have that quality item. It's just, I feel like people are really paying up for non-quality items right now. And that's where you get into a lot of trouble. It's like you were talking about the She-Hulk, those books that were $1 that are now 50 or 100, you know, yeah. It's like
that right. Why is this book worth over $100 now?
It's not really a key of anything, right? It's just an iconic cover.
Suit Spider-Man. I mean, it's $252, but to me, it's like this is still should be like a $60 book. It's like now it's for dollars retail, and it's like why? Like this should be. I remember buying one of these for like $20.
I'm thinking of the Secret Wars Black Suit Spider-Man cover. That's like that book's like $100, $150 book. I don't know why.
Yep. It's like a lot of this stuff now people think are going to go way up in value, which is pushing the price up. And I think that's what's messing up the market is like, you got a lot of these people who are like, oh my God, First Stiltman. This one's First Stiltman. Oh my God, he's going to be in a Daredevil episode. Let's buy that book up. And then it's pushing it up. And then it's like, why is that book getting pushed up? Because people are specking on it. And then it's just causing that book, when it doesn't do anything, like he's not involved in an episode, then that book drops down. Mephisto, that's a perfect example. How high did that book go before WandaVision came out?
It was crazy.
He wasn't in the episodes. And then all of a sudden it's like, people actually hated WandaVision because the YouTubers said he's going to be in the next episode. And they I watched WandaVision the other day and it was a great show, but yet the spec on it ruined it. And what's happening to a lot of like these Venom books, it's like Venom or Spider-Man 300. That book should never be where it's at. I remember it sitting on a shelf for $50. Why is it like $300 raw now. It's because all the people are like, oh my God, he's going to come to the MCU. No, he's not. Like, Black Suit Spidey, I can see coming to the MCU. Venom, nah, he's not going to come to the MCU, and eventually people are going to grasp it, and then that's going to force people to sell their book at a loss, which pushes collectors out. So I think that's what one of the main problems in this industry is too many people are jumping in thinking they're going to make $1 million off these comics.
Right. And when the big gains have already been made, the time to get into this was 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years ago. You missed out. You're not going to get the 300, 500, 1,000 x your money at this point. At this point,
you might
the gains have been there. Right.
I mean, a lot of these people want it tomorrow, and it's like, dude, it's not going to happen. It's the people that are coming in that want to put together a collection that, like, yo, they've been lifelong collectors. It's like how people are in this just because it's what's cool and it's what's popular right now. I mean, I remember watching all the animated series as a kid and reading the comic books. I remember I still have my first Carnage appearance that's tore up from when I was a kid. How many of these people that come in never even watched an animated series episode?
A good number. I can't. It's hard for me to sit down with people that think they know X-Men and they've never seen the X-Men cartoon. It's like, how could we even have a conversation at this point? It's like, no, the movies are not the X-Men. It's not. It's totally different. You're missing out on the best stuff.
Apocalypse does not look like that. Apocalypse was the coolest character ever. He could change his hand into a gun on request. He could grow. Like, no, that's not Apocalypse, man.
Apocalypse, Juggernaut in The Last Stand. I'm a huge Juggernaut fan, and that was did really good in Deadpool. In the X-Men, no, it was so bad. Colossus was a huge disappointment in those original X-Men movies. He had like maybe a couple seconds of screen time, and then in The Last Stand, he was in the fight scene a little bit. And I remember in the fight scene in Last Stand, I thought, are they going to do Juggernaut and Colossus fight each other? No, they're not.
Yo, when they went on in two, though, dude, that was like a payoff. Everything Fox has ever done and ruined. Like,
yeah. But yeah, and you did make a great point, and that's something that I really want to stress on for my YouTube channel, and if you ever have a future channel, is I never want to steer people in some speculation fantasy that, oh, don't worry, man, everything's going to be great. You just keep buying my stuff, keep bidding up my books, and everything's going to be great. You're not going to get that on this channel. I can tell you that. I'm telling everybody that everything's about to collapse. You better, be cautious
about my stuff, and people get pissed at me because I'm like, no, stay away from that. Like, don't do that. Like, he's never has any future. And they're like, but it's on your wall. Like, shouldn't you want us to buy it? And I'm like, nah, man, I'm trying to tell you, which a lot of these comic shops, they don't do that. They sit there, look it up on eBay, and they're like, oh, no. See, look at it. It's buy it. And they'll show you the buy it now price. And it's like, nah, I go to sold and I'm like, yo, like this book 3 months ago was selling for like $1,000. Now it's like at $400. Like, I don't know, like if you guys are a fan of the first Black Suit, if you guys are a fan of Spider-Man, yeah, then that's a cool investment, man. I'm going to give it to you at a fair price. That's like what it's going for. Like, but if you guys aren't a fan and you guys are just looking to buy it just to like, maybe 6 months from now, he's going to show up in a film. It's like, nah, don't buy that. Like, buy this book instead, because this book actually has a future within the next 6 months. Like, I keep on pushing that Namor book on people that like come in. I'm like, yo, 6 months ago, I was trying to push that on people. I'm like, yo, this is going to pop off within the next 6 months. Like, buy this book. And I've said that before. I was like, yo, I put a few people in Mercedes Benzes buying from me. But you know what? I can't keep everything, and I hate selling online because it's just too much. I'd rather you come to the shop, buy it from me, and sell it yourself online. You'll still make decent profit.
That sounds as real as it can get. Yeah, I don't want to tell people anything that I don't believe, and I say that genuinely. when I'm buying something, I'm assuming the worst. You know, that's just the way my brain works. Some people are optimistic. They assume the best. They say, man, it's going to the moon. Everything's going to be great. And we're all gonna drive off in Ferraris. And I'm like, look, man, if you hold on too long, if you make the wrong buy, if you do something without doing research, you're just listening to what somebody else told you, you're probably going to be in big trouble. So do your own homework, and don't be so naive out there.
I'll show you something else. Always look at your comic books before you buy them, because this one I could have gotten burned really bad on. This guy was pushing that this thing is beautiful and everything.
There you go.
Yeah, always look front and back at all your comic books. I mean, he's like, look at the cover, look at this, look at that. I'm like, and I pulled it out. I mean, this was out of 700 books there, and there was a decent little stack of keys this past week. And it's like, you've really got to buy from a trusted source, because a lot of these people, they'll sell you something promising you it's one thing, and then it's not.
And online, it's so easy. You never see the guy, you never see the face, it's so easy to just scam people and run away from it. It's tough. It's tough. Buyers are in a tricky situation with the online stuff, because you want the item so bad, and there's only so much you can do as far as what you're actually going to receive. And then you get the item and returns are a problem, and getting your money back. And it's hard. And sellers have it even worse, I think, because for a good, genuine seller who has to compete with the scammers and the BSers, it's really hard to get a good reputation.
That's why I got off of eBay, though, is because eBay was charging me the extra 6%, because I'm a new seller and I had a case opened up that went in my favor. So they're charging me 12 plus 6%. So it came out to almost 20%. So I ended up, the last thing that I sold was a Kylo Ren mask. I ended up having to cancel the item, because I'm like, dude, literally I had it at $20 for shipping. It almost cost $40 to ship. I paid $80 for the thing. It sold for $110, and eBay's taking 20%. I'm like, I'm losing money now. So I'm like, I just have to cancel this. So eBay, and that's why I want to talk about Whatnot if we do have time, because that seems to be the place to go to.
Yeah, and just one question. Derek Douglas said, anyone watch Titans? Is that like Teen Titans? You know what he's referring to?
Had the new season come out, right? Or
I don't know. Okay. Yeah, I haven't watched it. I have not.
I finally watched Justice League. If you're gonna watch a 4-hour film, don't bother. Just watch the last 20 minutes. That will last last hour. But I mean, it had to be at least an hour worth of footage of them just walking in like slow motion.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, let The Rock be the Kevin Feige of DC.
All right, so talk about Whatnot. Give us the scoop, because you had an experience.
So, I mean, Whatnot, I just got on there, and I'm going to be doing live sales. I mean, my friend does live sales 7 days a week for Pops. So I'm going to start doing live sales on all my comic books. And the first few live sales that I'm going to be doing, I'm going to take one of my $20 box, $30 and under boxes, which there's no dollar comics in there. They're all like, I mean, you see what I usually price those books at. And I'm just going to start them $1 each to build up my feedback. And Whatnot seems to be a very, very good place to sell on, because, I mean, it's live. So I hold up a book, I'm going to take it out of the wrapper. I'm going to be like, oh, look at this. This is this book, where it's like, I can be like, oh, that's the issues with it. You can talk to me live. So it's not like eBay where you're going off of 12 pictures. Mm-hmm. They're charging a lower percentage for the sellers. The item must be shipped within 2 days. So you guys are getting your item faster. And basically, you can request what you want to see. Like, if you knew that I had this book and you missed my live sale and you knew it didn't sell, guess what? You can hit me up and be like, yo, can you run this in your next auction? And it's 1 minute auctions. Okay. So it's basically like this, as if we were selling comics on here. And I can just be like, oh, this book is started at $1. but you can start it at whatever price point you want. I mean, I'm gonna be doing higher end books like this, but like at first, until I build up my followers, I'm just gonna be running like the $1 to $30 books, and just be running those all day at $1 each.
Sounds
Correct?
good.
Yeah. On that.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so I mean, it seems like a really good place to sell at. It seems a lot more, and also their customer support line, they guarantee you will always reach a live person. So,
Okay.
yeah,
Like
and it seems a lot more like interactual, like where you can interact with the seller, you can interact with the buyer, you can interact with the company. So, and they don't anybody make an account either. You have to for a 45-minute video, live video, and then you have to take a quiz to be a seller.
Wow. So they're legit.
Yeah. No, I mean, jump on it now though, like before it gets too big. I mean, eBay was legit when it started. Amazon was legit when it started. Eventually it gets
too big and they can't keep up with the demand. It's like eBay. You can't get anybody on the phone. There's no such thing.
Nope.
I remember my dad sitting on hold for hours with eBay customer support back in like 08, 09, but that was a while ago.
Oh God, now it's just questionnaire boxes. Although I do sometimes get them on the phone, but they'll hang up on you really quick. Like this one person was speaking with such a strong accent, and I said, "Excuse me, sir, I can't really understand you with your accent." He said, "You're being abusive," and hung up on me. It took me 45 minutes to get him on the phone. First 5 seconds, hung up on me.
Michael Gallen said eBay is going to be doing live auctions, so I guess they see what Whatnot's doing. They're going to try to get their hand in the mix. We'll see how that goes.
We'll see.
Yeah, we've been going for about an hour now. You want to wrap it up with any of your socials, where people can find you?
Yeah, definitely. I'm right off of exit 117 on the Garden State Parkway in New Jersey, in Hazlet and Airport Plaza. Just if you can't find us, it's right in the same plaza as the DMV in Hazlet, New Jersey. But we're Jersey Coin Showcase. Follow me at Jersey_coin 732. And you can follow me on TikTok at Jersey Coin 732. I'm gonna start posting more. I'm trying to hire somebody to be my full-time online person. So if you don't get a response right away, I'm very sorry. But I'm trying to get people, like, it's hard finding employees that want to just sit there online all day. So, but yeah, I'm getting to a lot of the back questions and everything that I've had. So if you guys want, send me your want list.
Message your want list. Let them know. You got a big inventory of stuff. Some stuff that you still don't even know what you have, right? You're still going through it.
Dude, I just bought all this stuff. I mean, really quickly, I'll just show you. This was out of 700 comic books. This was some of the good stuff in there. I know that my screen's a little small. It's this entire run of Ninja Turtles. So, there's more Ninja Turtles. Tales of Suspense. First Crimson Dynamo. First Jubilee. First Growing Man. Thor. A lot of Silver Age Thors. Then I have a ton of dollar books too. And like I texted you during the week, I pulled that out. Spider-Man 128. There was no 9 now. I thought that when I saw that, I'm like, yo, what? It's a 128. Where's the 129? Nope, it wasn't in there. So, but I have a lot of back issues of Amazing Spider-Man in there. I have like number 77, a lot of the earlier stuff. So definitely send me over your want list at Jersey_coin 732 on Instagram. And yeah, I can get back to you. Just send me your phone number in the message, and it's a lot easier for me to text you back. So definitely just hit me up. And yeah, if you want, hit me up at 732-768-1167. Just text me though. Just text me, because that's an easy way to get in touch with me. At least I have my phone on me 24/7.
There you go. And before I sign off, guys, just want to say I do apologize that there has been a slowness of content. Super busy, but I have stuff coming. There's going to be a video coming out tomorrow. It's going to be a part one of a two-part video of a trip that Greg and I, a supporter and friend of the channel, we took a trip down South Jersey and hit a couple spots, found some really cool stuff. Dad made a lot of cool buys. I got a really cool toy that's been on my want list for about a decade. So it was kind of fun, met some cool people. And yeah, we got more flea market videos coming up in the future. And Dad recently was out filming for his first videos that he ever did. So we'll see how that came out. Evan said he saw him with the camera and was doing a pretty good job with it. So I appreciate everybody that tuned in tonight.
Yeah, I want to
have.
Good looks on hooking us up together, because if it wasn't for Greg, we wouldn't be together right now. So
absolutely, Greg is the man.
Yeah, no, for real. And are you still coming down to the shop on Friday?
That's supposed to be what, this Friday?
Yeah.
I think I'll be able to do that. I don't think I have anything on the works for that. But you said you close at like what, 5 or 6?
Yeah, we close at like 5. So
okay, so I'll be there like I don't know if my dad will be there because it might be a little early for him to get out of work, but I'll be there probably around 2:30ish, and I'll spend a couple hours down there.
That you're going to be bringing for him, and trust me, it's good stuff. It's 10-cent books. So I've had it sitting underneath the front counter in front of my store for about 4 years now. And I dug underneath of it, and I'm like, what is this? And it was in a shoebox. I'm like, oh my God, Chris's dad is going to shit when he sees this. Like, no, like these things, I wish I had them with me so I could show a few of the books off. And yeah, no, you're going to love this stuff. So.
Sounds good. Sounds like a plan. All right, guys, I'm going to sign out. Video coming out tomorrow. You guys are going to enjoy it. There's a lot of cool comics. Went to a really cool store. And Mark, I'll be seeing you on Friday, and we'll make a video out of that.
Definitely.
Everybody, stay safe out there. Good luck. Goodbye.
Keep collecting.